Ethan leaned against the kitchen counter, his phone pressed to his ear, while the faint sounds of cartoons and twin giggles echoed from the living room. He had been a single dad for 3 years now, and though he cherished every second with his daughters, Emma and Ella, life often felt like an uphill climb. Between his demanding job as a mechanic and the endless energy of 2 5-year-olds, exhaustion clung to him like a shadow. Tonight was no different: spilled cereal on the floor, toys scattered like confetti, and a mountain of laundry waiting in the hallway. He rubbed his tired eyes and spoke into the receiver, "Please, just tell me you found someone." His friend Mark, who owned a small babysitting agency, had been trying for weeks to help Ethan find reliable care. Every sitter so far had quit after a few days, unable to keep up with the twins' mischief and charm. Ethan's chest tightened as he thought of tomorrow's long shift at the garage. He couldn't afford to lose another day of work. Just when he was about to give up, Mark's voice brightened. "Actually, I found someone special. She's young, responsible, and really wanted this job. She'll be there by 7. Ethan sighed in relief, unaware that the knock on his door the next morning would change not only his life but also his daughter's futures forever. The next morning, as the soft glow of sunlight filtered through the curtains, Ethan opened the door to find a young woman standing nervously on the porch. She wore a simple sweater, jeans, and carried a worn-out backpack slung over her shoulder. Her smile was warm but cautious, as if she was carrying secrets she wasn't ready to share. "Hi, I'm Lily," she introduced herself softly, her voice carrying both confidence and humility. The twins peeked curiously from behind their father, giggling at the newcomer. "You must be Emma and Ella," Lily said, kneeling to their height, her eyes lighting up with genuine kindness. Within minutes, the girls were tugging at her hand, eager to show her their drawings and favorite toys. Ethan watched, surprised. Most sitters grew impatient quickly, but Lily seemed to melt effortlessly into the rhythm of his daughter's world, laughing at their jokes, listening attentively, and even suggesting a game that had them squealing with joy. For the first time in months, Ethan felt a strange but comforting calm settle over the house. As he left for work, he caught himself glancing back more than once, wondering who this young woman really was. There was something about her, something deeper than her smile, that didn't quite fit the picture of an ordinary babysitter. Little did he know, Lily wasn't just here for a job. She had stepped into his home with a purpose far greater than anyone could have guessed, one tied to a life of privilege she was desperately trying to escape, and a father whose wealth could never give her the one thing she longed for: belonging. Days turned into weeks, and Lily quickly became part of the small family's daily rhythm. She packed lunches with silly notes, braided Emma's hair before school, and taught Ella how to bake chocolate-chip cookies, filling the house with the kind of warmth Ethan thought he'd lost forever. The twins adored her, often asking if Lily could stay for dinner or read them bedtime stories. Ethan, too, found himself noticing the quiet strength she carried, the way she listened without judgment, the way her laughter seemed to heal the tired corners of his heart. Yet, he couldn't ignore the little mysteries that surrounded her. She never spoke about her own family, avoided questions about her past, and seemed unusually protective whenever someone asked where she lived. One evening, after a long day at the garage, Ethan walked in to find Lily seated at the kitchen table with the twins. She was helping them build a cardboard castle, her face glowing with joy as if she belonged nowhere else but here. Something inside Ethan shifted. For the first time in years, he felt he wasn't alone. But as he leaned against the doorway, a thought troubled him. Why would a young woman with so much grace and intelligence choose a low-paying babysitting job in a small town? He shook it off, grateful for her presence, yet deep down, he knew her story was unfinished, like a book she hadn't yet chosen to read aloud. And when the truth finally came, it would arrive with a force powerful enough to shake everything he thought he knew about her, and about the life he was building with his daughters. The turning point came on a rainy Friday evening. Ethan had been called to the garage for an emergency repair, leaving Lily with the twins. The storm outside raged louder by the hour, thunder rattling the windows as Emma and Ella clung to Lily's side during story time. In an effort to distract them, she began weaving her own tale, not from a book, but from memory. She spoke of a little girl who grew up in a mansion filled with chandeliers, marble floors, and endless luxury, yet always felt invisible to her powerful father. The twins listened wide-eyed, asking question after question. Didn't her daddy love her? Ella whispered. Lily paused, her throat tightening, before replying, he did, in his own way. But sometimes, love gets lost in all the wrong places. Ethan returned home just as she finished, dripping from the rain, and overheard enough to recognize the deep ache hidden in her words. Later that night, while cleaning up the kitchen, he gently asked, "That story, was it about you?" Lily froze, her eyes darting to the floor, and for the first time since she arrived, the carefully built walls around her heart began to crack. She admitted quietly, "My father, he's wealthy. Too wealthy. He sees people as numbers, employees, deals. I wanted to know what real family felt like. That's why I'm here." Ethan was stunned. The babysitter he had welcomed into his chaotic